What's up, folks? I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Since I didn't get to say a lot, I tried to Friday night, a little more than usual. Kind of a short night. Hope you're all doing well and having a good evening. It's the early morning hours. And Gemma's replay is going to be creepy appellation. Appellation. Whatever. Appellation hauntings and creepy stuff. Hey, Chris, how you doing, sir? What's up? And I did get to see the end of Penguin. It was awesome. I think we already talked about it. I hope you're having a good night. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, at least. I just sat around. We went to my brother's. Came home, chilled out. Watched everybody sleep while I cleaned. So, yeah. Yeah, tonight's going to be a good one. I like this one. And then figure out something else if we go for another one. And there'll be no Tuesday talk. It was okay, yeah. Mine basically was okay, too. I had a friend pass early Monday morning. So he had a heart attack. He had a stroke, massive stroke. Sunday, they didn't think he'd last as long as he did, but bless his heart, I'll miss him dearly. He was my buddy, close friend. He had moved to Nebraska, so he is going to be buried here. So I'm just waiting for his return with his family. So I'll probably be doing that. And at the end of the week, next week, they said they're going to do it as soon as they get back. So I'm getting taken care of. So, yeah, I'm taken by it. That's why I didn't stream Thursday. Just wasn't into it. I talked to his wife Thursday morning. It was sobering, but it was all love. So he was a good preaching man. So, yeah. And now back to excitement. I don't know who else is here. I'll probably start the video. Probably, like I said, I always try to start around 12:30, a little bit before, a little after, depending on how the night goes. Anything exciting happening for you, Chris? You all caught up on your shows now? Catch all your season finales? Yeah, not much on. I just have a hard time keep up with everything. Now I'm trying to watch Dragon Ball Daya. That's been interesting. I know you're not anime, so that's all right. Mr. Behold, how you doing, sir? Thunder and lightning. Maybe gotta get you a Thor hammer. Make sure it makes noise. At least thunder. Oh, just waiting on Skeleton Crew. That's cool. Yeah, there's a couple of movies I'm getting anxious. Well, I heard Alien Romulus is on Hulu, so I got to check it out. How you doing, Mike? You having a good night, good weekend? Thanks for hanging out with us this Friday, both of you. I know, Chris, you kind of came and gone, but I appreciate it. Yeah, you were there, Chris. Yeah. It's been a weird week. Yeah, excitement at its best. I'm sure Cindy Lee, if she's not too pooped from cooking all that food, eating all those leftovers, she may pop in later. I'm not sure about Edna. I know she hit the Facebook, so hopefully she'll pop in and let us know how she's doing. I got to email her too. The women. But yeah. Yeah, Friday night was kind of short. I kind of expected to end early because of the holiday. People get used to it. Like I tell people, you get a membership, it's a lot easier. It's worth it. You pay $5 a month. You get a free reading every Friday, one card, until she at least gets back on her feet. And then hopefully she'll go free again because she doesn't like charging. She hates it. But she's got to do something. Actually, it's not that much compared to what some of these other people do. No, there's a lot of good ones out there too, but there's also a lot of ones that not as fun as Gemma. A little more stupid. But yeah. Now I don't know if we'll be doing Tuesday talks for a while. Ryan's got some obligations he's got to take care of, and then she's only getting a couple weeks before the kid goes on Christmas break, so she's got to work her butt off to get everything caught up. Yeah, Shadowbox, yeah, but yeah, I just figured I'd watch it on Hulu. Do you pay for Shadowbox? I never asked Giles. Or do you just go and watch it? And is the quality pretty decent, or is it give and take sometimes? I've never checked it out. I know Giles has. But yeah, I wanna watch that. No, it's free. Okay, cool. I talked with my former light technician a little while ago. Oh, cool. Nice to hear. It's always good to hear from people. Yeah, believe me, it is. It's pretty sad because I just talked to Thomas probably a week before he passed. I mean, we were having a good conversation. He sounded good. Got a little zealous during one of his evening services, I guess. At least his wife said he was pretty emotional during the service. I don't know. Bless his heart. Most of the shows and movies are HD. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out. I've ever since Pirate Bay and all them, Bear Share and all that, I just haven't. I mean, usually I have access to everything now, so it's so much easier, but it's always nice to catch ones when they're still in a theater. But this one's on Hulu, so I figured I'd just watch it. Giles has got Disney package, so he said come down and log me in. I want to have it back anyways. I had just Hulu, and I just got rid of it because he said he had the package, and I got it for the Predators. But I was watching other stuff on it too. But I don't watch streaming like I used to. Usually I just buy it. I'd rather have hard copies. So if I like it, I'll probably go buy it. Right now I'm trying to find all the director's cuts and all that for the original, for the first Aliens. I've seen the regular ones in box sets, but not them in box sets. And if you did, they're usually pretty pricey. So, Mike, what is your new hours? I don't think you ever really said what your new hours are. Are they day hours? Back to working Monday through Friday? That sucks. I like to have my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, even though the hours are kind of a bummer, especially when you're raising kids. You miss out on stuff. At least I always made it to the baseball games, softball games, soccer games, basketball games. Giles, it was where they all played soccer when they were young. And Giles played baseball, played football for a little bit, but really into it. And basketball. The girls played basketball and soccer, and Ashley just basically started doing her own thing, and then it was just Giles and Samantha in sports. Samantha played softball. Watched The Substance. Yeah, I heard it's a good. I just watched a review on it, so I guess I'm going to have to check it out. They said pretty gory, pretty weird, pretty wild. So I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I just watched a review for it. That's the one with Demi Moore, right? Yeah. Everyone is concerned about me all of a sudden. I have zero idea how the heck my old light guy knew. Well, sometimes you get if you're close enough to somebody for so long, you get a gut feeling, Mike. And I know you're hurting a little bit, so just relax. And you're back on days. Just take it slow and easy. I've been there, believe me. And it is. It's amazing how friends all of a sudden call you out of the blue. Hey, are you okay? I've been there. And I've done it to friends too. Hey, man, I haven't heard from you. Okay? God told me to call you. It's good. 1 second here. Sorry about that. But yeah. How many other we got? 6 in here? I'll start the upload here in a little bit. Just hanging. Letting some people come in. And once I start to upload, too, people start to pop in. It's only 12:16. I'm playing Jitterbug. Well, they're pretty good. I'm doing it on YouTube, too. Let me refresh. Hey, when I do that. See if that helps. Sometimes that helps. There we go. I think my old boss player told him, your old boss bass player. But he wouldn't say, of course. You have 2 friends that call you in 4 years. Yeah, it happens. The only person that's really, other than the guys so most of the people lately have all left. I've lost 2 close friends. Tom's super close to. Me, him, and Patty were kind of our spiritual advisor. He was the minister, minister. He likes to call himself a minister, but he was basically a preacher. He was the one with me during my demon encounter. He's the one I called. I'd been through a lot. He was going strong. He was good and healthy. So it caught us all by surprise. I found out later, and then he went ahead and he lasted as long as he could. But before he passed on, she found him on the floor in the bathroom. After the service, they got home and changed. And said he didn't come out of the bathroom. So she went to check on him. He was laying on the floor. She went down to make sure he was okay. He didn't fall. Told her he loved her and he'll be okay. And he passed out. He was in a coma for I want to say 8 or 9 hours. And then he flatlined. Bless his heart. I'll miss him deeply. I'll miss him a lot. But yeah. And then John's the only one I really don't hear from as much as I'd like to, because he lives down there in Cincinnati and he runs a restaurant. Him and that guy's always on the go. He was supposed to call me the other day, but I know he gets busy. He heads off and he runs apartments and he's got houses. And then they just redid his Golden Corral. So yeah, it's Golden Corral, right? And remodeled it. He says they've been super busy. So he probably ended up working. Most of my so-called friends live within 30 minutes. Yeah, I got that too. I got a couple friends close to that I barely ever hear from. Unless I run into them in the gas station or something. You have those. I'm normally pretty healthy. But I've seemed to be, and you'll go through that. You're getting up there. You're still a young pup, though. Just remember, stay busy. Keep your mind busy. Keep as healthy as you can be. I can't say much. I'm 61. I was supposed to be gone when I was 50. I keep freaking them out. So, and I'm still standing. They told me I wouldn't even be standing by now. So, hey. It's all up here. They won't take me. Yeah, they won't take me either. And so the song goes, bury me with my guns on. So when I'm cast out of the sky, I can shoot the devil right between the eyes. Yeah. Now I'm quoting songs. I'm okay. It's been like I said, a weird week. See, bear with me. I want to get back to normal. If we're not gonna do Tuesday talk, I may pick up like a Tuesday night and kind of break it. Instead of doing spooky time on Thursday, do it on Tuesday. That gives me a break instead of doing stream. Well, if we'd done Tuesday talk, it'd have been a stream, day off, stream, day off, day off. Usually I don't call Mondays off when she gets a, oh, thanks, Mike, appreciate that. The only person I have regular contact with is, that's sweet. I'm glad she keeps in touch with you too, man. She needs it too. And she had, it looked like she had a pretty good birthday. Did you get to talk to her for her birthday? She needed to get out. I know she's been through a lot. Same thing with Melissa, I should say. Bacon Jr. Dragon. And Edna, keep her in your thoughts too. Hope she pops in. Keep saying her name. I hope she comes in because I got to find out how she's doing. I've seen her popping around on Facebook. No, she never answered. Oh, yeah, she was probably out having a good time. So just bear with her. She made a lot of videos. So, yeah, for a couple, I guess. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be down soon. I was hoping to come down soon. I was hoping to get down and back. And when I come down to see John, I'll make it a point to see you. Because I usually go down to stay. I hate driving back and forth in one day. It's just too much. So usually what I do is go down and stay for a couple nights. Usually I go down and stay for a night for him, but if I'm going to come visit you, I'll probably stay down for like 2 nights. Because I need to get down and see him. He's come up here a couple times to see me. And I got to get my ass down there. Actually, I want to go down there, check out Harrison in the old area. He says it keeps changing year by year, so check out his new restaurant. I haven't been to it since they remodeled it, so go check that out. I guess he moved across the big water, the river there. And yeah, I guess he's in Kentucky now. He used to work on the one in Klein on Klein Avenue. Is it Klein Avenue? Yeah. So yeah, I got to come down and see him. Oh, tonight's SOR's 10th anniversary. Probably not have a whole lot of people on tonight. Yeah, I figured between the holiday and she was not very busy at all Friday night. Usually she's a little more steadier and a lot more people come in later. Usually we get people after Ryan's stream. We only got a couple, but yeah, we were done by like we were done like at 9:30. About 9:30. Probably about 9:30 at least. So yeah, I didn't know it was their 10th anniversary, but they've been around for a while. Yeah, I still try to catch him during the week on the radio because I do get him on the radio, if you know what I mean. And sometimes I listen while I lay around watching. I'll come on here and watch the replay. I don't watch much of the weekend stuff. Who are they all having on tonight? Do you know? Probably everybody, I would think. And a couple of them passed, didn't they? I haven't heard much from Big Willie since he passed. Or Chad. Have you seen any of those guys around? Are they still streaming? I'm sure Big Willie's busy, man. He's got a big family. I see him pop. I used to see him pop up every so often somewhere. It's been a while now. But yeah, what we got here? 5 people, and it's 12:25. We'll start. I'm gonna prep it, get it ready to go here while we're talking. Okay, we're gonna do creepy encounters on the Appalachian Trail. See if I can get on here without her. Oh. Get from the beginning. I don't do too much of the ramblings at the end because it's all old stuff. This is 3 years old. And she said she's still painting eyebrows here. That's funny. Let me get it set up. File. Screen share. There we go. Share. We'll see. There it is. Get me at the bottom here. Put me at the bottom. Just one guess, but they made a video of him last night and had all the big UFO people on it. Made him cry. Oh, that's cool. My beagle is wrapped up in a blanket. She looks like a burrito. That's funny. Don't make me hungry. We had tacos for dinner tonight. Nobody was in the mood for leftover turkey. Okay, here I go. I'm getting all choppy again. Here, let me, I'll start this here. Make sure you guys tell me it's loud enough. Hopefully people come in. I should be in the chat as long as I do not have any problems. And let me make her big. Be big, woman. There we go. And we're off and running. But make sure you, there she is. Yeah. Make sure you let me know you guys can hear this, okay?
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing some paranormal encounters that happened along the Appalachian Trail. I'm also still getting over being sick and just wanted to thank all of you guys for all of the well wishes, love, light, healing. As I was searching for things to cover this week on my channel, I came across some really creepy encounter stories with ghosts and spirits. And as I was researching my stuff for MPNM, I was doing a lot of missing people and mysterious events on mountain ranges. So I kind of decided to combine the two. But these encounters just kept coming up in my searches, like ghostly encounters and apparitions. I like to go with the more terrifying if I can, but the downright strange and creepy seems to get almost the same effect, at least from me. I know for an absolute fact, ghosts and spirits, both positive and negative energies, walk amongst us all the time. I know some of you are skeptics, but as always, I ask that you only keep an open mind. And if at the end of the video, you still aren't a believer or at least somewhat less skeptical, then that's okay too. In that case, I hope you are at least entertained. I find that many of my subscribers who have become close friends and even some who have become like family find my content more believable simply for the fact that I would never report anything to you guys that I myself wouldn't believe in. So I wouldn't ask you to believe in something that I didn't. So without further ado, here it is. Real paranormal encounters that happened along the Appalachian Trail. Some people call it Appalachian. I call it Appalachian. Jersey. The Appalachian Trail is sprawled out across a vast part of eastern North America and spans 1,500 miles from the island of Newfoundland all the way down to central Alabama. The Appalachian Mountains, also called the Appalachians, is one of the great mountain ranges of this continent. The Appalachians were formed over 480 million years ago and are one of the oldest mountain ranges in North America. There's no way this place doesn't have many different types of entities, energies, ghosts, devils, demons, and all things in between, lurking around behind every shadow and around every turn. If you're a believer, then you already know that a place this old must be absolutely riddled with paranormal activity. The trail is 2,200 miles long and is the longest hiking trail in the entire world and passes through a whopping 14 different states. These states are, and they're in no particular order, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, with an extension called the International Appalachian Trail continuing northeast, crossing Maine, cutting through Canada to Newfoundland, and with sections continuing in Greenland, through Europe, and even into Morocco. Millions of people hike one part of this trail or another every single year, and I bring you now just a few of the unbelievable and extremely strange tales of the paranormal and the bizarre that have been encountered throughout the years. I'm sure there will be a part 2 of this as well, possibly even a series. Who knows? Might as well go crazy. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear more. So in 2011, a man I will just call Josh was out backpacking alone along the trail near Catawba, about 15 miles from Newcastle, Virginia, camping out all along the way. The nights got pretty lonely, but Josh says that even worse than that, on several of the nights he camped, he was unable to sleep due to what sounded like footsteps crunching the leaves under someone's foot directly outside of his tent. He says that along with these phantom footsteps, he heard what sounded like a man with a gravelly voice grumbling and talking to himself. Now, keep in mind, he obviously didn't camp at the same place twice and traveled, I'm sure, pretty far distances between campsites. There was no one he ran into on the trails and nobody around as far as the eye could see when he made his camp and settled in for the night, any of the nights. He convinced himself he was just overtired and making himself crazy from being alone for so long, and his mind must have been playing tricks on him. However, it wouldn't take long before he actually saw something with his own eyes he couldn't so readily and easily dismiss. He described how he was collecting firewood and not only had a pretty good little blaze going, but also a pretty good stockpile of wood as well. He was actually starting to enjoy what he described as, quote, the deafening silence of nature, end of quote. He put his feet up, lit himself a cigarette. He flicked his cigarette, meaning to get it into the fire, but he missed. So he got up to grab it and manually put it directly into the blaze and stoked the fire while he was at it. He said he got up and picked up the butt, but when he turned around, he stated, quote, that's when I saw him. The light was low with my little fire, but I could clearly see a man reaching down with a scorched hand towards my firewood. He quickly looked up and his vacant white eyes connected with mine. He gritted his teeth and scrunched his nose towards me before quickly leaving the ring of firelight. I was shocked. I have never experienced a fear like it. I fell right onto my butt next to the flames. I looked out into the forest and saw nothing but dark shadows and unclear objects, a blank wall of nothing, of everything. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even yell, with no one to hear me but him, so I did what every red-blooded American would do. I packed up my things and got the hell out of Dodge, end quote. He traveled until the sun was just beginning to rise and had every intention of continuing on as fast as he could because he was no longer interested in this solo hiking adventure he had set out on. He said he wanted to get back home, back to civilization. However, he inevitably became too tired to continue on and fell asleep right where he was at the moment the urge to lay down hit him. And it did hit him quite suddenly, he explained. He woke 3 hours later with the intention of getting further along on his way, but it seems the Appalachians weren't quite done with his dose of the terrifying and bizarre just yet. He said he smelled something, quote, strange, and when he continued to smell it, as he sat there allowing himself a few minutes to wake up, he decided to go and investigate what the heck it was that was permeating his nostrils so blaringly. He said something told him to jump up quickly and that there was trouble approaching. His instinct or intuition, most likely. He stated, quote, what I saw was my tent, or what remained of my tent. For now, the only thing left standing was the tent poles that dripped with oozing leftovers of my tent body. A bubbly layer of melted green plastic lay beneath the poles, with a steady gray smoke still rising from the mess. I got up and felt the weight of the sky fall on my head. For a moment, I was sure I had woken up into a horrible nightmare. Without contemplating it much further, I grabbed my water bottle and ran through the empty pasture. By the time I made it to the gravel road, I was out of breath and dripping with sweat. I hastily chugged from my water bottle and wiped my mouth. Down the road, I could see a vehicle parked in the dust. I staggered forward with my hands at my sides and soon realized it was a sheriff's sedan. And for the first time in a long time, I couldn't have been happier to see a law enforcement vehicle. When I got closer to the vehicle, I noticed that it was parked outside of the remains of a charred house. Nothing left standing but the mailbox out front, end of quote. He explains next that he asked the officer to drive him into town and decided not to mention any of the weirdness he had experienced during his adventure on the trail. He did, however, inquire about the charred remains of what was obviously once an entire house that the sheriff had been parked near when he stumbled upon him. The officer told him that 4 days earlier, which was the same day he had started his trip, the house had burned down. Despite a lengthy and thorough investigation, they couldn't determine what had caused the fire, but they did suspect that it was arson. An entire family, mom, dad, and their 2 young daughters, all perished in the blaze. The sheriff described it as, quote, real tragic stuff, end of quote. But the guy could only stare, jaw agape at what he was hearing. I don't know, guys. You put 2 and 2 together here. Our next encounter takes place in the mid-1980s when the witness was at a shelter one December along the Appalachian Trail in Amherst County, Virginia, along with his son and their dog, Ginger. As they relaxed at their camp talking, they saw something very strange come rambling out of the wilderness. He stated, quote, the figure came within 100 feet. The thing was tall and wore a dark brown fur coat. I was aware of Ginger's barking changing to something I had never heard from her before that event, nor after. Without thinking, I called out to the figure to come over and have some hot drink. That's when things got very difficult to explain. End of quote. He recalled that when this mysterious beast-like thing turned to face them, it had a human-shaped head, but it wasn't at all human in appearance. That's when the thing completely turned around. Its entire front body and face were visible to them now, and it was staring at the dog. Ginger was still barking at this time, incessantly at this thing, but as soon as it placed its eyes on her, her barking, quote-unquote, changed. Her hind legs began to shake uncontrollably, and her barking was no longer barking, but gurgling. It was obvious to this guy that his dog was in extreme pain. The creature then turned around and stalked back into the wilderness. Its strides were long, and it was out of sight within seconds. As soon as its gaze averted away from Ginger, her normal, though very aggressive barking had resumed. It was as though nothing had changed about it since she had first spotted this thing emerging from the woods before them. His son asked him what had just happened to their beloved dog, but the father wasn't really hearing him, as he himself was thinking about how in the world this thing could have physically caused his dog pain like that, or any pain at all, really, from the distance of about 100 feet away. He said he wasn't really afraid for the dog, as she was very tough and a handful of a golden retriever. They still decided to spend the night there after this, but the dog was on high alert the whole night and didn't sleep at all. Ginger spent the night staring off into the woods the entire time. The next morning, they made it back to their car without further incident, and once the heat was on, as it was freezing cold night outdoors, Ginger curled up against the man's son and slept the entire 3-hour drive back to their home. The witness went on to state, quote, "I've since learned that the area had a fall and winter with dogs making a lot of noise at night, with a large number going missing. A calf went missing without a trace. The owner was uncommitted as to what was going on, but said his grandfather had a story about the brown man. He had not seen anything, but neighbors had. Something dreadful happened at that shelter in August of 2011. A hiker was found dead and half buried. It's now April of 2016. I have not heard of an arrest. I am interested if there are any similar accounts of these things harming dogs. I'm a skeptic looking for an explanation for Ginger's actions other than Bigfoot having mind control capability over dogs and maybe humans too." End of quote. What in the world could this have been, guys? Bigfoot seems the most logical. I'm not very familiar with most cryptids, Bigfoot included. I'll admit I'm slowly learning and best believe that I've learned much since I first started creating on YouTube in April of 2020. And I'll learn and have been learning even more as I feverishly research in preparation for my new radio show coming in December. More on that at the end, though. I will have to look and see if there's any other reports or if it's a common occurrence for Bigfoot to be able to telepathically or remotely cause physical and possibly even mental and emotional pain to pets and or dogs. I mean, I'm of the impression and opinion thus far that old Sasquatch is an interdimensional being, possibly of the Fae variety. Not sure on that latter conclusion, though, still searching for more. Could that be why it was able to affect the dog in this way? Because it was from somewhere other, and wherever that is, they're able to do things like that. What an absolutely bone-chilling thought, in my own humble opinion. If you have ever heard of anything like this or have more information, let me know in the comment section below, please. I am seriously curious about this matter in particular. I might even have to ask Connor, Mr. Bigfoot, and on himself. Our next encounter is a man who was backpacking through the trail with a group of friends. They had camped for the night, and when they woke in the morning, it was to the sound of children's laughter coming from everywhere all around their camp and the nearby woods. They were out in the literal middle of nowhere, and there was no one else around, let alone any children. It sounded like dozens of children, too, all laughing playfully with each other. They all peeked out of their tents at the same time to have a look at what was going on. The morning was misty with some fog, but they were all very sure of what they were seeing next. It was a procession of children walking right past their campsite. These kids stopped and proceeded to ask what the campers were doing there. The witness responded that they were hiking the Appalachian Trail, to which the children all giggled and in unison replied, quote, "This isn't the Appalachian Trail," end of quote, and kept right on their way, laughing and giggling until they were completely out of sight. The guys said they could hear this children's laughter throughout the entire rest of their hike. The laughter no longer seemed playful now, but taunting, though, as if they knew they were scaring the crap out of these people in the woods. The thing was, though, he said that the laughter now seemed to be coming from nowhere and from everywhere, all at once. That it was seemingly coming from the trees to below their feet and everywhere around and in between. Though the children's laughter could be heard for miles and miles as they continued on before finally making their way back to their vehicles and heading home, They never once even caught so much as a glimpse of the children again the entire time. Fae? Sounds a lot like Fae activity, except Fae wouldn't usually approach and ask what they were doing. Stranger things have happened, though. Back in 1972, a man reported being alone on a trail when all of a sudden a thick fog started gathering all around him. It came out of literally nowhere, as just a second before it was clear and sunny where he was walking along. He tried to peer as best he could off into the distance, and that's when he said he saw, quote, a tall black figure, end of quote, approaching him. The figure seemed to be wearing a heavy coat and a hat with a wide brim. This mysterious stranger seemed to be looking for something on his person and was very confused himself. He was patting his pockets and had a look of sheer astonishment on his face. In fact, this figure was so involved in looking for whatever it was all about his person, he almost collided with the man telling of the encounter. The witness wrote that the figure looked up to him and met him with icy electric blue eyes that generated a swell of dread within him immediately. It was then that he also realized that the stranger was wearing out-of-date time period clothes, as if he had stepped in from another time period way back when. The hiker says he tried to greet the odd fellow but was ignored. As they passed each other, the witness turned to look back and found that the strange man had simply vanished. This confused me, as at first it sounded like the witness was describing an entity of some sort, but then it turned out that it was a man. Although it was described as a figure and then as a man interchangeably. Weird. I think it was an entity in the shape of a man, except for the seeming confusion as he seemed to be searching for something. I'm really not sure about this one, guys. I totally and completely believe in it 100%, but I'm just not sure what exactly we're dealing with here. Time slip sounds the most reasonable to me. The person who posted this one, and you'll find my source material in the description box below, says he was camping one night on the trail in Maine at a place called Pierce Pond when he saw something he would never forget. He described the weather as exquisite, though he admitted the fact that there were no bugs at all the entire time he was camped and hiking there struck him as odd, like right from the door. He says he sat around his little campfire of the first night, playing his harmonica, singing, and just enjoying the alone time and the beauty of the woods. He says as his fire died down to nothing but embers, he grabbed out his journal, intending to document the peace and tranquility experienced so far in hiking the trail. He didn't even get the pen to the paper, however, before he noticed the sounds of nature all around him. Something about them seemed, quote, off, end quote, and it immediately got his attention. He recalled, quote, they were just different, and I knew someone or something was about. I could feel it, end of quote. He went on to say, quote, through the moonlight, I could see something that kind of took me aback, and I sat still as possible while trying to slouch in my sleeping bag. There is no doubt it was a figure that was moving across my sight between me and the pond. It was definitely the form of a figure that was moving across my sight between me and the pond. It was definitely the form of a spectral, woodsy outdoorsman type with a small pack and what appeared to be fishing gear. The figure faded into the night, and I woke refreshed and relieved to be on the trail in such a beautiful location. I thought about heading out, as my first experience like this had me unnerved. But the day was beautiful, and I mostly forgot about it as I stayed on to enjoy another day in this beautiful weather. But as my campfire lit the trees around me that night, this same woodsy character reappeared, and as the fire crackled, its eyes turned toward me, and I was truly frightened for the first time in my life. And I ran up the hill away from the lean-to and didn't stop until I could barely breathe, end of quote. He said he finally just slumped down next to a large tree and waited out the night there until dawn, when he went back to the lean-to only to retrieve his belongings. Next, he says he went to, quote, Tim's, end quote, for pancakes, as if we know who Tim is. At first, I thought it was like a diner, but then he said he asked, quote unquote, Tim, if he had ever heard or seen anything like this before. So maybe it's a diner or pancake place named after the owner, whose name is Tim, and that's the guy he spoke to. Again, though, annoyingly unclear, and I have no clue. So anyways, he asked Tim, and Tim told him that he had indeed heard of sightings like this and said that for years, quote, this vision, end quote, had been haunting a wide area of the trail in Maine. But he wasn't sure if the figure had caused any trouble or harmed anyone. I don't know, guys. I was kind of hoping he would have described the figure a little bit more. I was thinking he would hint towards what maybe he thought it was, and then we could get our own idea, but no such luck. Maybe it was some sort of ghost. Could it have just been a guy who lives in the woods, feral or otherwise, who goes out at night and fishes for the next day's food for his family and when nobody else is around? Very creepy either way you spin it. I would absolutely love to hear what you all think about this one. As we finish up here, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the allegedly haunted places that are said to be all along the Appalachian Trail as well. I'm definitely going to do a full video on this, but I thought these two places are definitely worth mentioning here. I figured it would bring a nice closing to the script as it is. These places are Compton's and Fox's Gap and nearby Spook Hill, and I chose them out of the hundreds of haunted places, with several in every single one of the 14 states the trail passes through or runs along because of what happened here. As a psychic, you all who have been with me for even a little while will know I know all about energy and talk a lot about it on my channel, both here in my videos and in the live streams. These particular places were where some deadly and fierce battles of the American Civil War took place. In 1862, when this bloody and maybe most would agree nonsensical war was taking place, it was filled with horror, blood, death, carnage, anarchy, and mayhem. The earth and foliage were soaked, and the water sources near ran red with blood of fallen soldiers. Bodies were just left to lay and rot side by side, regardless of whose side they had fought for. Most of these bodies never even got the grace and peace of a proper burial. Obviously, this is a place where there is tons of energy left behind. It's been a paranormal hotspot ever since those days long ago, centuries in fact, that the war took place. One of the most popular legends being that cars parked at Spook Hill will be pushed up the incline by unseen hands, and that ghostly handprints will appear upon vehicles. There are also numerous apparitions of Civil War era soldiers seen here, and the whole area is commonly referred to as, quote, Spook Central, end quote. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and that's that these stories I just spoke of sound a lot like urban legends from every and any town in the United States and beyond. However, I don't really think so. In this case, I definitely think it could very well be true. Maybe the activity isn't exactly as people say it is, with the ghostly hands pushing the cars and leaving handprints, but if there ever were a place where I would believe that this was much more than an urban legend and definitely be willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, it's this place. I would definitely keep an open mind if someone were to tell me that they were there and this exact thing had happened to them. In my opinion, from my own personal and lifelong experiences, there is no way possible that this place isn't haunted in some way, even if it isn't cars being pushed up hills and handprints being left on the cars. And I really want to investigate this one further. Guys, please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you liked spending this time with me, if you're glad to have me back after my week-long hiatus.
Hello.
Subscribe if you haven't already, and spread the love
guys?
by sharing this video. If you are subscribed, please make sure your notification bell is turned on.
You're like clock.
I can't share the campfire stories, the fireside chat, or even Caleb's mom, April Arrington's live stream interview, because I realized the other day that all those...
Blah, blah, blah. She's still running in the background. Hold on. 1 second. I get my next video. Cherokee never really lived near the Rockies. No, I don't think they did they? Let's say. Keep chatting it up. I'm watching. I'm just getting the next video ready in case we do another one. I mean, we're averaging about 5 people in the room, so as long as you guys are watching them, I'll keep playing them. I'll do at least one more. I'm glad you guys are talking. Keep talking. I like this conversation. Always like. My most of the relatives are all from Pennsylvania, southern Pennsylvania, along everywhere, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. I have relatives in Phillipsburg, but the grandparents, I think, moms from Appalachian part of the Pennsy, and my dad's was all around Kentucky, up in the mountains there on that little slide there. My grandparents on my dad's side are from Poland, Russia, part of we're all immigrants from, I believe, the Netherlands. I have to get the hair. I always screw it up. My brother Mike's got the whole works, but we definitely are. Vikings. But we kind of mixed the pot. What we got here. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mike and Chris. I'm certainly here. Yeah, just hanging out. So, you're more than welcome to hang out with me. Like I said, I always do. I try to do 2 now. Kind of fills in the spot. At least gets me till 2 o'clock. And it all depends on how much active it is here. I'm trying to get our next one here. And I got to find it first. I always lose them when I do this. I don't keep them I don't download them because you only get so many now with Facebook, YouTube to download and hold on to. I was born in America. My heritage comes from Glasgow, Scotland. Yeah, I can kind of see that, Mike. Yeah, I think once we started trucking across Northern Europe, they started mixing the bag, as one might say. So, sec. Dun, 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 dun. Did I go too far again? I bet I did. I didn't. No, right there. Okay. Yeah, this was actually a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, that video. So let me see. I had it. I just got to figure out a good one. I don't know. That was kind of. Then we'll do that one at Christmas time. Okay. I want to do that one. I was going to do that one too, but I'm trying to save the alien stuff because there was all kinds of alien stuff going on right now. You guys seen where supposedly in Manchester, England, a orb landed on one of the runways, and then here the guy's got army helicopter trying to follow one. And then in Arizona, there was major UFO sightings taking place. One of the problems, I haven't gotten a hold of the footage, so I can't tell if it's weird. Catch up on the giant. All live near the Rockies. Trying to remember where I heard young. Have you been from the coast to coast? And I've been from coast to coast in my younger years. Were hard for me to keep things straight in my head. I haven't been traveling, but I get a lot of information. Bagpipes making me kick. So want to kick someone's behind. I'm just trying to catch up. I'll let Mike answer that one. Or Chris answer that one while I look for this video. Now I'm going to do disappearances too, because those were good ones of hers. I'm just trying to spread everything out. We can do hellhounds. I've seen some hellhounds. Most people have only heard of them as the Magawezi and the Pugwagi. I've always known them as the little people until I started hanging out on this channel. And then I started hearing all the real names. Now, I mean, I never really researched the Fae because I'm pretty sure that's what I saw when I was young, following little kids around. Because school was real close to a river and woods. But I just always been trained. I know I didn't start really piecing the Fae and stuff until I started hanging around with Gemma. And then you guys started giving me all these Native American names for them. It was like, holy crap. I'm just getting caught up, dude. Just give me time. I'll get there. I've been so lost in other things. That's why when I get with Ryan, I'm always impressed with when you guys start talking this stuff because, see, I really didn't Now, as much as I love the Native American lore, I was into other things, more the demonic and other that stuff. Sometimes you don't get drawn into that yet. So I'm catching up. You get to studying one side. Sometimes you forget the other things connected to that. Even though I always say everything is connected, but yeah, like I didn't find out a lot of things until I started researching for some of these guys that like to do what I call forbidden history and stuff like that. Then I started bumping in even more of this stuff. And then I got you guys start talking the Native American side. So yeah, Dragon, I've been to the Grand Canyon, Pikes Peak, some mystery spot, and many ghost towns, old cemeteries. Really? See, I've been to Colorado, been to Japan. Then just the states around me. And other than when I was traveling, when we did most of our running, I ran the state and some of the areas outside the state, Michigan, been to Pennsylvania, West Virginia, a little bit of North Carolina, of course, Kentucky and Tennessee, Indiana. That's pretty much it. Other than, like I said, Colorado, Jersey. Now I've been to Jersey. Been in New York. See, when I went to New York, I really didn't even stay inside New York City. We stayed at a hotel, saw Pink Floyd, and went home the next morning. And Japan was awesome. Rockies, I didn't want to leave. But I've never been up north. I've always wanted to go up to Canada. Like I almost moved to the Northern Territories. Then I was going to move to Alaska. But yeah. So most of those kind of things you talk about, I've seen in Ohio many moons ago. But I would love to go to the Grand Canyon. That's one place I always wanted to go, was the Grand Canyon. Never been to Pikes Peak. Been to a couple of mystery spots here in Ohio, which is pretty cool. We reached a place called the Blue Hole up north in Seneca. And they closed it down for the longest time. And I don't think they ever reopened it. But it was just in the middle of nowhere, this big blue hole. I'm sure, Chris, you might know what I'm talking about. I don't know. And then they really redid the Indian caverns here, the old Tangi Indian caverns up north. I mean, it's only like a half-hour drive from me. They redid it and cleaned it up and opened more of the caves up. And, oh, man, I guess it's real nice. You can actually go crystal hunting and stuff like that, legit. So I want to go back and check it out since they redid it. We used to go there all the time as kids. See, I like caves, too. But, yeah, I'd love to go all those places. Let me get this other video going. We're going to do hellhounds, but since we're talking about this stuff, see if I can find something we're talking about. Dun-dun. I don't want to either dare to air. I'm glad people get to travel. I'd like to travel more. Life's just crazy. Sometimes you got to work. Excuse me, guys. Let me. Sorry about that. Let's go back down a little bit. She doesn't bring up any of this Namagwag and Pogre, whatever, however you spell it. She does have one on Skinwalkers. You want to watch the Skinwalker one? Let's do the Skinwalker one. I don't know if I've done that one already, but let's do it. It's only 17 minutes. You guys can rap while I run it. And hopefully some more people come in. I was lucky my father wanted me to experience the scenes and the mysteries of it. Yeah, well, we were just middle class. Dad was just a mechanic when he got out of service. Then he had 4 crazy boys. And due to certain situations in my physical being, and the service wouldn't take me. But I got to work with a lot of people in the service, like Mike. So I got lucky. I still got training plus that, in a way. Blue hole and South Americans left. Oh, the blue hole and it cannot like the South Americans left human sacrifices in them. Yeah, I know that. The blue hole up north in Seneca, it was weird because it was like a mechanical. They made it like a garden. I could never say botanical gardens. It was real nice and beautiful. And then in the center of it, they had this. I mean, it would look like a well. It was this huge blue hole, and the water was blue, crystal blue. I mean, and then one day it shut down. I don't know if it was. I've heard all kinds of rumors. I don't even know if it's still open, if they opened it back up or not. Say note. Say note. Okay. Thank you, Chris. I almost called you Mike. Smack me. I'm just kidding, Mike. My father worked in the steel mills, but he made us. Yeah, my dad, he was always on call. He, worked for Wonder Bread. Had to go out and fix those Wonder Bread trucks, stranded on semis and trucks on the road all the time. He was trying to make ends meet. So yeah, we did vacation not far. Thought it was just get for boys type money. I had a good life, though. I'm not complaining. He taught us a lot. He's still teaching me a lot. Because that's what I'm talking about. I have been there. There you go. Okay. Oh, you have been there. I thought it was Seneca. You think there was human sacrifices left in the bottom of that? And I thought it was Seneca. I thought they spelled it S-E-N-C-A, Seneca. Seneca. So they spelled it wrong. Or is that just the county? It's the places. I just always remember it being spelled like that. It's been a long time since it's been up there. Me and the ex used to drive by it all the time. Stopped once when it was still open. Looked up the Critical Defense Institute. Oh, okay. Look up the. Yeah, I will. You got everything's going on here. Let me start the Skinwalker one. Excuse me. Okay. Let's do this. I'm tired. But I'm not bad. Go. Share. Bottom. And here we go. Oh, good's here. How old is this one? Oh, 2 years old.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just
sound is a little soft on this one, so you may have to turn it up a little bit. Sometimes she has that problem.
Skinwalkers. Okay?
She still does.
I've recently been coming across
encounter
after encounter with an entity I don't know much about. What I do know about the Skinwalker is that it's evil. It's a shapeshifter, and in some myths,
yeah, that sound is real low. So if you guys have to turn it up, please do.
In its vicinity.
I'm doing everything I can.
Over and over again lately, I've been coming across either encounters with them or just seeing a program on TV that mentions them in one way or another.
I may pick another one. You guys hear that okay? Does everybody hear that okay?
And of course,
I'm going to pause it. Does everybody hear her okay? Can you adjust your volume? Because that is low. She has a couple of videos like that. Or it's a little, hey, now, Mike, behave. I'll have to call Edna. Oh, yeah, I know there is, Chris. Yeah, I know there is down in South America. There's a guy, James, I watch. I think a long time ago, he did a video of all the ones down there many moons ago. So you guys hear this okay? I'm going to go ahead and start it. I can hear it, but I have to. Yeah, okay, you have earbuds. Yeah, if you got headphones or earbuds in, turn them up. If you can hear it, good. So I'm going to start it. It's just real low. I'm going to notice some of her newer videos do this too. What a face. Oh, now it's going to give me grief. Replaying. Starting up. Give it a minute. Oh, come on. Don't do this. It's because I paused it. Please stop. Now it's going to go off. You peckerhead. I don't know why it does this. Every so often I get these ones that do this. Not Seneca. Okay. Okie dokies. I get you, Chris. 1 second, I'm trying to deal with this. Refresh. There we go.
My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing the skinwalkers, okay? I've recently
It's gonna be low,
across
so
encounter after encounter with an entity I don't know much about.
gotcha.
What I do know about the skinwalker is that it's evil, it's a shapeshifter, and in some myths and legends, it collects the souls of those who die in its vicinity. The fact that over and over again lately, I've been coming across either encounters with them or just seeing a program on TV that mentions them in one way or another, it got me to wondering exactly what they are and where they come from, and of course, if they're really real.
S.D.N.Y is a little ahead
Everyone
of
in
you
this
guys.
community has heard the tales
when
of
it comes to
Skinwalker
certain
Ranch,
things.
and I'll be covering
There
that
we
place
go.
in an entirely separate video. For now, though, let's just focus and look and see if we can accurately define the Skinwalker and figure out exactly what its purpose is. Let's go crazy also and see if we can figure out where it came from or it comes from. So, in mainly just trying to get an answer or an overview of this, I see that this entity is very prominent in the Navajo tribe of the Native American people. I know that many other tribes have a similar legend, but I'm talking about what I'm seeing the most when trying to get some research done on this particular subject. The Navajo Nation sprawls out over a vast area of the United States, states of New Mexico and Utah, and it is a place steeped in legends, myth, and all manner of spirits and magic. And you guys know, or should know by now, when I speak of magic, I'm speaking of magic with a K. There are so many legends, and they range from kind of spooky to downright terrifying and everything else that's in between. The Skinwalker, as far as I can tell, is one of the most frightening entities one could ever come across. It's been that way in my own personal experience as well. I've come to personally know the Skinwalker as this stick tree looking entity that's straight from the bowels and deepest, darkest circle of hell. I'm not even sure if this Skinwalker thing that I'm seeing and that I'm coming to know as Skinwalker is the same thing as what's being described as the aforementioned Skinwalker that's like at Skinwalker Ranch. I do my research sometimes as I'm writing the script, so it ends up being just as much of a surprise for me as it is for you guys. The only other place I've ever saw Skinwalker as I've come to know it, as I've come to see it, is in an episode of Dead Files where Amy sees the same exact thing and recognizes it as Skinwalker. Other than that, I literally can't find anything of Skinwalker as to what I'm seeing. Very rarely when I see this thing, it's quite terrifying, but I'll get to that when I get into personal stories and encounters. So the Skinwalker of Navajo legend seems to prowl around for helpless victims, and there's so much information on them, so many different legends spread throughout so many different cultures that I can't fathom for a second that it's all just one big myth, one big made up thing. They are referred to in the native tongue as Yi Nanalushi, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. This literally translates to, quote, he who goes on all fours, end quote. They are typically described as having once been powerful witches or medicine men who, through magical means that vary from tradition to tradition, have acquired various supernatural powers, chief among them the ability to shapeshift into various animal forms, such as coyotes, crows, cows, wolves, bears, cougars, owls, and others, as well as half-human abominations that merge the features of animal and man. They're also said to be extremely fast, strong, and agile, and have an assortment of other powers, such as the ability to mesmerize, instill supernatural fear, read minds, sow confusion, and to possess the bodies of others for short durations. They're usually described as being rather animalistic looking, even when they're in their human form. They're often naked, but not always, and are generally seen as being almost impossible to kill, with one of the only ways to use a bullet or knife covered in special white ash, that being the only way said to be able to actually terminate them completely and permanently. So far, this is definitely terrifying, but it's not at all what I had in mind when I was thinking skinwalker, because I was thinking of what I've come to know as a skinwalker. So it looks like I'll have to do another video on the type that I've come across and stick to the shapeshifters for this one. The most common method for becoming a skinwalker is said to be for the medicine man or witch to bring a dark curse upon themselves by performing rituals and rites of pure, unadulterated evil. In order to be imbued with their dark powers, they, in addition to these gruesome rituals, are said to be required to commit great atrocities or grave taboos. This could even include the murder of a loved one and other unmentionable and horrifying acts that I'm not going to put on this YouTube video. If it all is done correctly, though, they are infused with the insidious curse and all of the sinister powers that come along with it. This most often results in the newly minted skinwalker being banished from the tribe, after which they wander the wilderness, stalking and tormenting anyone they come across, feeding off of the fear that they conjure in those who look upon them. They will roam the deserts and badlands and really wherever forever. It's crazy to think that all of this, according to the legend, is inflicted upon them by their own hand. Like, why would you want this? Is it because of the immortality? I mean, almost immortality as far as only being able to be killed with something with white ash? I don't know. I don't get it. Immortality as a vampire, I totally get. So what I just spoke to you about is like the main legend, the main lore, but there are so many variations. It's hard to get complete details, as this is the legend very much kept within the tribes, almost never spoken of to outsiders, and rarely discussed even among the Navajo themselves, as it's considered taboo to do so, and they believe it can draw the attention of the creatures. Being half Cherokee, and Steve is also half Cherokee, Steve Stockton, he agrees that yes, that's why in our live streams when we used to talk about the BEK, everything would just go to crap and stop working, because I believe, because of my ancestors and the knowledge that I was given by them and what I know just from researching, is that you can draw these entities to you. That's why it's not good to talk about demons. You don't say their name by name, things like that. Maybe it's just that we don't want to have to know that we know, or even that it exists at all, right? I always say in this community and in my line of work, there is no room for coincidence, right? So when technology starts shutting down, when you start getting sick, when you're researching demonic entities because you didn't put up light, right? Things like that. I've come to find too that many legends vary among tribes, and though none of these tribes will mention it specifically by name, they're all in agreement on what the hideous thing looks like. They say it's basically a deformed animalistic body, marred face, and blazing orange-red eyes. This whole concept doesn't really mesh or blend with any science I have ever heard of, but that doesn't, at least in my eyes, discredit it. Again, it's a legend that's as old as time, and it spans generations and cultures, and I honestly do believe in it. So let's get into that. The first encounter I have for you guys today is from a witness who says her family owns a farm on the heart of a reservation. She states, quote, "So this happened about 12 years ago. One winter, I was home for Christmas taking care of the farm while my parents were away Christmas shopping. As I was home by myself very late in the night, and I heard all our cows freaking out. I knew it had to be the wild dog rampant in the area. So I throw on some boots, grab a shotgun, load it up, and head out to the field. This was a perfect scenario for a horror movie. It was cloudy, but there was a full moon, and it was breaking through the clouds just right to light up all the snow. I ran out into the middle of the field, and just in time, I saw two dogs. They were standing up facing each other and fighting. I think perfect, 2 for 1. So I pumped a shell in the chamber of Mr. 12 gauge, and then it happened. The two dogs heard the rack. They both stopped, looked over at me, ran away on their back legs. Immediately I froze, and every ghost story about skinwalkers and all the other native legends I grew up with flew through my mind. Keep in mind, I'm a white guy, and up until then, these were all just boogeyman stories the native kids like to tell to scare us. That night, they became real to me." End quote. Much of the time, encounters with these horrifying entities happen at the roadside too, as in someone is driving and comes across one just standing on the side of the road. They realize what they're looking at and get the hell out of there, but as they speed up, this half man, half beast thing follows right on the heels of their speeding car. Could a coyote or other animal in this area possibly be that fast? What animal could be that fast that lives in the area? The people who have these encounters swear up and down that it was not a regular animal, but something hideous and much more evil. While researching, I found a case that makes me wonder about something I talk about very often on this channel: people who go missing. Take a listen and tell me what you think about this one, all right? The witness reported that he was with some friends, again in New Mexico, and they were out in the desert exploring some old Spanish ruins when they had the most frightening encounter of their lives. It was an encounter the witness says he knows he will never forget for as long as he lives. It was nighttime and the moon was out. They were doing what young adults do and exploring while goofing around and having some fun with it, kind of like on their own little adventure in their own small part of the world. We've all most likely done something similar, right? So suddenly the friends heard this angry, kind of violent sounding, piercing shriek. It flowed through the air around them. This is what the witness said happened next. Quote, it was going from wall to wall really quick, screaming the most blood-curdling scream you've ever imagined. We noped the F out of there. One of my friends pissed his pants and drove for a few hours to Bandelier National Monument, where we planned to camp out there for the rest of the weekend. We got to Bandelier at probably like 6 or 7 a.m. and set up our camp. After a few hours just talking about what the hell happened at the ruins, I went to take a piss behind a probably only like 300 feet from our camp. Guys, keep in mind, I'm just quoting this, so it's a little off. This is where everything starts getting a little fuzzy. I remember seeing 2 dust devils coming my way, and when I turned around again, 2 of my friends were there and they were motioning for me to follow them. I couldn't help but to follow them, like I was being pulled into them by shackles. I followed them for what seemed like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I snapped out of it. These weren't my friends. They had bright red hair with my friends' faces and cat eyes. Both of these friends were brunettes. I stopped walking and they looked at me with probably the most terrifying gaze I've ever seen. Monsters in movies are nothing compared to this. I turned around and ran as fast as I could back the way I came from. After like 5 minutes of full sprint, I got back to that rock that I pissed at and found our camp. Everyone was there, still sitting around talking, and didn't even notice that I had gone. I told them what happened with the lookalike skinwalkers, and we packed up everything and left, probably within like 10 minutes, and got the hell back to Albuquerque, end quote. So, when we're speaking of shapeshifters, whether skinwalker or otherwise, and yes, there will be a video soon on some other types, we must remember they don't only take the shape of animals. They're not always this hideous monstrosity, deformed half werewolf creature. And I also just noticed while reading and going through this script and doing this video that most of the encounters, if not all of them, always mention the full moon. So this got me wondering if it's just that when you're a shapeshifter, you could become whatever or whoever you choose. Does it depend on the type of curse that was put upon the person in order to cause the affliction? More research is definitely needed here, guys. Our final witness says his encounter happened in 1993 when he was a security guard at a small hotel in Taos, New Mexico. On this particular evening, he had been working the graveyard shift, patrolling in his car around the hotel grounds, and he decided to park and take a nap. Little did he know that he was about to have a surreally terrifying brush with something beyond his comprehension. He says of what happened next, quote, it was after midnight, close to 2 a.m., and I was in my car patrolling. I parked under a tree, and I guess I semi-drifted off. Suddenly, something struck the bottom of my car with enough force to make it sway. This car was a rather heavy 1978 Thunderbird. I started the car and pulled toward, turning around in the lot. Sitting where I had been parked was a dog-like thing with an odd face staring me down. I felt a dark energy about it, like it was invading my very soul. It had human features, especially the eyes. They had that spark of a human, but they were wholly evil. Its face didn't have a long snout. It looked like a human nose, a bit extended, but not black-tipped like a dog. As for size and body, it was a bit bigger than an adult German Shepherd. Its fur was rather mangy and dirty-looking black and tan. It was thickly muscled. Looking at this thing gave me that feeling of fear instinctively when you know you're in big danger. I hit the gas and tried to hit it with the car. It ran off the property onto native land across the road. It then ran back across onto the hotel property. I made chase. It ran into a third parking lot. It then ran into an area called the Ponds, where the weeds grow about 8 to 9 feet tall. There were 2 large cesspools there, and the area was really weed-filled. I parked and grabbed my pistol and ran on foot after it. I could hear it moving through the weeds. It was circling, trying to come up behind me. Then it rushed and threw me aside like I was built of matchsticks. I felt around and found my pistol and made chase. What ran in on 4 legs ran back out on 2. It looked like a shambling, nude, man-like thing that screamed as it fled. The scream was both human and animal. It was horrifying. The thing ran across an area that had sagebrush and cactus in the direction of some houses, so I could not risk a shot at it, end quote. When he recounted this story later on to some of the other workers in the hotel, mainly the housekeeping staff who were Native Americans, though I'm unsure of what tribe,
possibly Navajo, because that's the main one in the area as far as I could tell, but they told him that he had met a skinwalker. Right after the encounter, he started having terrible nightmares, a bunch of health problems he previously didn't have, and he swears he started to have extremely bad luck. He attributed all of this to the skinwalker encounter. It got to the point where he actually sought out a native shaman to cleanse him and with a ritual and sacred smoke. He believes the skinwalker had been stalking him for weeks or possibly even months and couldn't for the life of him why. He says the meetings with the shaman have given him a spirit protector in the form of a white wolf, which has managed to break the spell of the skinwalker, dispel the nightmares, and allow his health to stabilize. That's all I have for you today, guys. I know this was a short one, but as always, my research is still ongoing. Please be sure to leave a comment, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, hit the notification bell and spread the love by sharing this video. We have to spread awareness, guys, so that people don't go chasing a skinwalker into the woods, right? Also, check out the description box for all of the usual stuff, for a link to my Wednesday night live stream, a link to my Saturday and Sunday night after hour show on Spaced Out Radio. If you're not subscribed already to Spaced Out Radio, please go on over there and hit that.
It didn't go off. There we go. There we go. Yeah, those are old. That's when she was doing Spaced Out Radio. SOR for weekends. That's about 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Up, I'm skipping again. Hate that. There we go. Yep, you're right there. Yeah, Ryan's a regular. He tells us that all the time. Encrypted cheeks are automatically cool. Okay. I remember that. Oh, do you, Dragon? The Wednesday nights? And then SR? There were that's about the time it was just her, Willie, and John. That was a great team right there. That was not much after I made my appearance. Yeah, that was good times. They should have never changed it. They'd still be rocking. Only problem is it was hard for her because of the late nights. It was hard with the kid. Still would be kind of, but she had a blast. Those shows were awesome. And then they started adding people, and they kind of broke it a little bit. The last thing, it was good for a couple, and then they started adding more people, and I think that just kind of hurt it because they were rocking right at the beginning. That one it was just her and Willie and John. I mean, those four right there were perfect. They pretty much ran the first hour, then John would pop in like the last hour. Always made for great conversation and good laughs. I think one night that's all we did was laugh. It was so funny. For sure. Yeah, they are great shows. So fun. The readings are fun. They're meant to be fun. She likes to ramble, and that's why she does it. She comes in, does her thing. She gets to meet with people and talk to people. And she says that's the best way to pick up on good readings. So technically, is this Saturday night live with you on the East Coast? Well, kind of. Yeah, or you could say Sunday morning live, early Sunday morning live. But yeah, basically, I do these on Saturdays just for fun. I know some of her older videos didn't get that premiere treatment, and it gives people to come back and look at her older catalog of stuff, uploads. The church. I don't know if I'd call it church. I don't like calling it that, but it's fun. And then if you can get up and go to church in the morning, you're doing good. I usually last about 2 hours, depending on the crowd and what's going on. Like tonight, we got almost 1:30. I'll probably shut down about 1:30, quarter till. But yeah, I'd usually do 2 videos. I start at 5 after midnight, but I start showing the uploads I show 2 uploads. I start the first one around 12:30, depending on chatter and how's everybody doing, and who's all here, and what we're all talking about. But I usually do 2. Yeah, I do 2. I like the wigs, and she has fun with them, and that's Gemma. So I just, and she does. There's some of those wigs. She looks really good in them. But yeah, I do. I love her natural hair too. She's a sweetie. Yes, she is. She's a Jersey girl. I was taken when she asked me to do the list for her. Well, actually, it all started when she asked me to come join her on SR one night when she was by herself, and then ended up leaving me by myself for the first time. It was hilarious. I do, don't I? Now, you don't want to see me on a pole dance. That would be that you would have to put warning. But no, Gemma is very sweet. Shots. I don't do shots anymore. It's been a long time. Me don't drink like I used to. I still have one once in a while, but not like I used to. And even then, I wasn't a big drinker. But no, working with her has been great. She's a true best buddy of mine. We have a lot of fun. She loves picking on me, and she picks on me in stream, and I pick on her out of stream. So it works out. You're 10 years older than her, so I'm just horsing around. How you're fine. 20 years, so I don't want to hear. Yeah, I have my days, but no, I don't. I wasn't a big drinker since I was a kid. That's because I'm an only survivor of a drinking driving accident out of 5 people, and after that, I chose my other forms of partaking. I was a big drinker in the military, but went cold turkey when I left. My dad, my brothers used to say my dad drank a lot, but he admitted he might hold a beer once in a while, but dad was never a big drinker either. Cute kid. Who, her or the kid? Little man or her? They're both cute. Little man's something else. We don't talk about it too much on here. Her, yeah, I figured you were talking about her. And she's a fine woman. She's got a good head on her shoulder. Going through a lot, but she'll get through it. She's got us. So she'll do fine. She'll get where she wants to go. Oh, excuse me. My tacos are not liking me. Yeah, he is. I call him little man. He acts like it. I'll tell you what, do you want to know somebody? He amazes me. I mean, he can look at a car and tell you the year, the make, and everything, man. It's amazing. I mean, he knows his cars, that's for sure. And when I showed up one day, and we were at the mall, he goes, "You have a Hyundai, 2010. I mean, he rattled it off. I was like, holy cow. Did you fart, Ghosty? No. I was belching. We're trying not to. The tacos make me belch. Yeah. You might also hear it. I'm closing the door. At night, we let the dog out the front door. We don't let him out back anymore because he's been nailed by a skunk like 3 times, or 4 times. So we don't let him out in the backyard anymore at night. So yeah, That's probably what you're hearing is the door. Because the door is just right out there. You had 3 tacos. I ate 4. We had them here. I made them. Or actually, my son was nice enough to cook tonight, so he made it easy on me. It's been a long week. He knew I was hurt. They'd all caught up with me today. I was kind of off all day. Now I'll probably be off when we go. I'm supposed to get a phone call the next 20 to 48 hours by Monday about when they're going to bring him home. So I'll probably be there for that. If not, I'll make sure I'm there to greet him at the house, at their old house. Because I think her sister bought the house, so she's going to let her come back there. But it's a long story. We're having tacos tomorrow. There you go. There you go. Tacos. Tacos are not just for Tuesdays. That's what I always tell people. Taco Tuesdays. Well, tacos are not just for Tuesdays. We've had Taco Thursdays, Taco Saturdays, Taco Beats. There you go. It's funny because it's YouTube chat is faster than StreamYard chat. But when it comes to the video feed, StreamYard is faster than YouTube. It doesn't make sense. So usually I can see when I type, I'll get to type in there in YouTube faster than I get it in StreamYard. But the video is like a couple minutes. I'm like a couple seconds faster than YouTube on StreamYard, which is weird, but not really. I guess that's so they can bleep me out when they need to. I'm rambling now. What time we got? 2:30, 1:30? We got here. We got 4 watching. I think I'm going to call it an evening, guys. Would you guys go get some rest? I'm naturally slow. Yeah, I am too at times. There's been days I've been slow. Boats. Oh, taco boats, you bet. It's okay, Mike. That's okay. I'm not sure. It all works out for me. Yeah, I just take my time anymore. So naturally slow has become a thing for me too. Yes, everybody have a wonderful weekend. I don't know if she's got a video coming out Monday or not. I'm not sure. I don't think she does. But she's just trying to play catch up. With her kid being off, man, that throws her all out of whack, especially when it comes to work. So I might show up Tuesday evening, so keep an eye on YouTube. I might pop in and do a 8 o'clock stream for the giggles of it. We'll see how it goes. If not, you'll definitely see me Thursday. So no Tuesday talk for a little bit until everybody can get back together again. Or at least till me and Gemma can get back together and she can get back to a normal work week. And so I'll be here for sure Thursday at 8 o'clock. Then Friday for Gemma's Oracles. And then I'll be here Saturday. Make sure you at least be here Friday for Gemma. Much love to you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. Short night. That's all right. It's a holiday weekend. So everybody go rest. Get ready for the work week. And if you don't work, enjoy the week. And I shall talk to you all soon on the flip side. Behave, and be well, and be safe.